Pubco Studios in Oklahoma City. You're watching The Press Row. I'm Jenny Carlson here with Barry Trammell, and we're brought to you by Papa John's Pizza. Go online to papajohns.com and check out all their specials. Great for those nights when you're in watching football or baseball. Hey, Barry, let's start with 5 and 5. We've got 5 topics, about a minute each for that 5 minutes. Let's go with this one first. Most in the crosshairs with Kevin Durant sidelined. Who would that be?
You know what? The easy answer is Russell Westbrook. But you know who really is in the crosshairs now? I think it's Scotty Brooks. When you got Westbrook and Durant, a whole lot of decisions are made for you. The rotations, the offense, all kinds of things just sort of run on schedule. When you don't have one of those guys, we saw it last year when Scotty had to proceed without Westbrook. Now he's going to, unforeseen territory, going without Durant for 15, 20, 25 games. I think Scotty Brooks is going to have a lot of decisions to make. Who to play, when to play them, how to spread the minutes, how to get the shots distributed. Durant's good for 20, 25 possessions a game. Those things have to be spread out, and I think Scotty's got a lot of decisions to make. Yeah,
I think Scott Brooks and Russell Westbrook definitely in the crosshairs. But you know what? I'll throw Serge Ibaka in there as well, and here's why. It looks like that Steven Adams may be the guy starting with Serge down there in the paint once this season starts. So you've got that change. You used to have Kendrick Perkins behind you if you're Serge Ibaka, and he quarterbacked the defense. I think that now switches over to Serge being more of a quarterback. I think he's going to need to do that, but then I think he's also going to need to step up his offensive game without Kevin Durant. I think he's totally capable in both areas. But, you talk about making up for those shots that Durant takes. I think they can do that by playing some really outstanding defense and getting easier shots, getting out in transition. But a lot of that may start with Serge Ibaka. All right, Barry, let's go to the gridiron. And what's the bigger story? Is it Adrian Peterson on the downside or DeMarco Murray on the upside?
I'm going to say Adrian Peterson for this reason. I think, DeMarco Murray is a huge story. He might be the NFL MVP. And here's who cares about DeMarco Murray and the MVP: American sports fans. But this Adrian Peterson story with the alleged child abuse, with all the other things coming out about Peterson, that transcends sports, and it's becoming this is becoming a national story, just in the way that people discipline their children. So I think Adrian Peterson, no offense to DeMarco's fabulous year, but I think the Peterson story is a national story. Yeah,
a lot more ripples, I think, with the Peterson story. Yeah, I think he is the bigger story, but you got to give it up to DeMarco Murray. Big time props to DeMarco Murray. 6 games to start the season, 100+ yards. Only Jim Brown has ever done that before to start an NFL year, and we know how great Jim Brown is. So, DeMarco Murray, what he's doing, fantastic. But yeah, I think when you're talking societal ripples, I think definitely that Peterson story is bigger. But you lose Adrian Peterson, if you're a Sooner fan, you got to like what DeMarco Murray's doing in his absence. All right, Barry, what about this question? Another football-related one. Who should be punished at Floida State? Obviously, this Jameis Winston investigation is a complete mess. Looks like the police were covering things up. The school might have been covering things up. Who deserves punishment in this whole thing?
Well, it's a little bit funky because if you want to go all the way to the top, Florida State has an interim president. So, it's hard to get your arms around who exactly the buck stops with. I think definitely the person that coming out looking the worst, though, is Jimbo Fisher. His impassioned defense of Jameis Winston is ringing hollow with everyone, declaring what is and what isn't. He knows the facts. He does not know the facts. He was not there. So Jimbo Fisher's just, babbling on about this. He was literally made to sit Jameis Winston in the Clemson game. It's not a good thing. I think, though, that who should be punished at Florida State? The answer is Jameis Winston is the ultimate answer. Who's responsible up the food chain? All kinds of people, starting with Jimbo Fisher. But who should be punished? I think it's Jameis Winston.
Yeah, I think Jameis Winston deserves to be punished from what it sounds like, and probably will be, because as we know around here after the Frank Shannon situation, or as we should know, it's not a matter of what happens in the justice system that counts with these Title IX investigations. You don't have to have charges filed by the police, by the DA, to have a Title IX investigation that might ultimately find Jameis Winston guilty. To me, that was one of the most egregious things about that impassioned defense that we've heard from Jimbo Fisher, him saying that There was no crime, so there is no victim. Well, you know what? Apparently, people on the Florida State campus need to know how these Title IX investigations work, because you don't have to have charges filed to have a Title IX investigation, and maybe someone found guilty in this situation. It's not guilty beyond a shadow of a doubt. They only have to find him like 51% guilty is essentially, that's the standard of guilt when it comes to these Title IX investigations. Lots of people need to figure out what the rules really are at Florida State. All right, Barry. Hey, what would you crush LeBron James in? Gordon Hayward, the Utah Jazz player, saying the other day that he'd crush LeBron in League of Legends, which is apparently some sort of game out there. But, okay, so what would you crush LeBron James in?
Well, I'm a man of many talents, so there's a lot of things he would have no chance in. But let's go with your suggestion. LeBron James is from Akron, Ohio, where they don't even know what okra is. Let me tell you what, I can fry up okra that would shame anything LeBron James produces. I've been a long connoisseur of okra, and just in the past few weeks, I've learned to cook it. My mom taught me how to fry up okra in the old-fashioned way. So, LeBron, anytime you want to come over for dinner, I'll fry you up some okra. You'll love it. You'll take it back to Akron, take it to Cleveland. You might even open an okra restaurant.
I'm still waiting on my invite for okra, by the way. Okay, here's what I would crush King James in. And okay, this is kind of domestic, but so was cooking okra. So I feel like I can say this. I might be the best at folding shirts that never worked at the Gap. Barry,
Really?
if you know the Gap, which your girls, they shop a lot.
That's an unknown talent. I did not know you had that talent.
My dad ran a t-shirt shop when I was a kid, and I think I learned it there. But my husband, when he really has something he wants to keep nice and neat in the storage, he gives it to me.
Wow.
I have to fold it. I'm a pro. I'm a pro.
So you could get one of those jobs at the mall where people just walk around and...
Yeah, but I don't need the board. I don't need the board.
Really?
I'm that good.
Great
I
day.
am that good. LeBron, I'd crush you. All right, lastly, Barry, mid-season MVPs at OU and OSU. Who you got on the football gridiron there?
I'm going to say at OU, I'm going to go Eric Stryker. Lots of things have not lived up to their billing at OU. Trevor Knight, the offensive line, the defense in general, Zach Sanchez. But let me tell you, Eric Stryker is living up to the billing. He's a force. He really is an instigator, makes the offense change what it wants to do and have to identify where he's at and where he's coming from. Eric Stryker has been superb. At OSU, it's a little bit more difficult, but I will say, I'm going to say Dax Gurman, because Cowboys lost their quarterback. And whether anybody liked J.W. Walsh or not, I think we now see his value. And yet, Dax Gurman, he's not been great, but he's come in and played solid, sort of stabilized the offense. And this is a guy like Brandon Whedon who just fell out of the sky. So if the Cowboys didn't have Dax Gurman, I think they'd be going with Mason Rudolph, which would be a baptism I don't think OSU wants to do now. So I'll go with quarterback Gurman.
Yeah, probably my midseason MVP at OU would also be Eric Stryker, but if you're looking for my number 2 vote, I think I'd give it to Samaje Perine. Remember, this guy's a true freshman, and what they've been able to get out of him in the run game and how much that has helped them offensively, with Trevor Knight not running because of fear of injury, not really having a wide receiver core that is deep enough to throw it around. I think you got to say Samaje Perine has been a gigantic help to OU and what they have been able to do. At OSU, I'm going to go on the defensive side of the ball, because that side of the ball has been a saving grace for a team that you thought was going to rely so heavily on offense. I'll say Ryan Simmons. I think there's some different guys to choose from. Josh Furman's had a great run of sacks and interceptions, but if you're looking for the rock on the defense, it's Ryan Simmons. He's the captain. He's the guy who makes the calls. I'll go with Ryan Simmons at the midseason point for OSU. Hey, be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoma.